lovely. Thank you.
Kaya, the summer before she turned 15, decided that she would take her first course at Phoenix College. And so we registered for her for school, and then she took the AccuPlacer test. And she had some difficulties with it, but she felt that they placed her in the correct level for courses for her. So, she placed a little bit lower on the math, and so she had to take lower than 100 math course. And one of the really great experiences was that her first class that she took was called a class called College Success class. And it was a fun class on about college. They did like a scavenger hunt around the campus to find out where things were, and they had tests, personality tests, career exploration. They had classes about how to study and how to organize yourself for college. She really enjoyed that. And she enjoyed the community college. She enjoyed the mix of different people, the younger people and the older people combined in the classroom. So she really liked that. And so then the next semester she took an English and an art class. And then the following semester she took an English and math. And then after that she just decided to do everything full time. And what I did was I tried to align the classes that she was taking with what she would have in a typical high school requirements. So, and then I would put them, and I brought copies of my transcripts so you can kind of see how I put everything together as far as
Hers are so fancy. Wait till you see mine.
And resources and everything. And
Mindy, I'm sorry. How old was she when she started?
She started. She turned 15 in September, so she started that summer. She took a summer course just before she turned 15.
Wow.
And then the third semester that she was there was the semester that she got Nick. I don't know if you're familiar, but she was raising a guide dog puppy. So that puppy went with her to class and everything, which was a really cool experience for her too. And she said, but there's some important things she wanted everybody to know when I talked to her. She said, first, the best thing that I did for her was when I took her, and she recommends that anybody that if they think their child or their child thinks that they're ready for community college, is that they just drop them off at the door. She said, what I did was I pulled up to the curb, I pointed to the building that her first class was in, and I said, there it is, go find it, go. I did not go with her. And she said that just knowing that she was on her own and this is what she wanted.
It never occurred to me to do that.
To walk her in.
Yeah, I would never have done that.
I don't even think you showed me which building.
No, I didn't know that building for which. I just knew where to pay the bills, so.
Right. And I have something about that too. But she said that the advisors, when she went, that the advisors were not very organized, and they weren't educated to the degree that Kaya wanted. And so she finally went in there and found the right one that she wanted, and then she went to the honors advisors, and they were able to help her. She said that the honors, she found that the honors was the best thing for her. The caliber of students in the honors class, they were there because they really wanted to be there. They weren't texting on their phone or complaining. And also, she also found that the honors classes, that there wasn't as much work. The instructors didn't give a lot of busy work, what she calls busy work type homework. They did a lot of peer type discussions in class, and some of their tests were even that way. So she got a lot of help through the honors program. And she said it's really important to find out about the professors before you take the class. So there's a website called ratemyprofessor.com. And you can go on there and see what other people are saying about the professors. Within the first 2 weeks, if the student isn't feeling like it's a good match with them and the professor for some reason, they can try to switch classes. And I didn't know that.
After
I just
how long
thought-
again was that?
Within the first 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay.
So if they're just not feeling comfortable, the professor hasn't supplied them with a syllabus or the personality, or
Right.
they're just feeling like the professor might, might know that they're a younger student and be treating them differently. That have you found that to be so?
You actually have
to switch courses. So
Did your daughter have to switch classes?
she did a couple
did?
of times.
Really?
She did a couple of times because it wasn't a good match for her.
I would say that there were classes that you had that maybe you weren't so happy with, but you stuck it out.
Yeah. And then for admissions, when you go into admissions, they're really very confused. You can go to one person. You can go to one person in admissions, and they say, "Oh, well, we need this," and then, for instance, there's if your student's underage, that they would need to require approval from the professor. But certain classes like English 102, so you go to admissions, you go to apply for classes, register for classes, and the admission advisor says, "Oh, well, you need to go get a letter from the professor to take this course and get approval." And she would literally turn around, walk out of the line, get back in the line, and get in line and get somebody else, and they would just send it on through.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, the other thing that we ran across problems with was I went one time to get the transcripts for her, and I paid the cashier for transcripts to be sent to the college, to the university, and then I wanted a copy for my records. So I wanted an official transcript copy for my records. So I paid, I got in line for admissions, and they would not release the transcripts to me because of student privacy. So there is a form that you can fill out for release of information. I think you've done that.
Even if your child is under the age of 18?
Yeah, but
That's
they
correct.
were happy to take my money.
Oh, and just wait till
Yeah.
they turn 18. You can,
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
With medical issues, it's
I mean,
terrible.
they don't want you anywhere near.
Right, but there is a release of information form that you can fill out
That's
for
the same for
anybody.
seeing grades or talking to the professor about how well your student is doing.
Right.
If part of your agreement with your student is that they have to sign that so you have access to their records going to community college, then that's something that you have to discuss with your student, and that's up to you to make sure it happens.
Right.
Because the college will honor the privacy of that student, regardless of age.
Right. But they're happy to take your money.
Sure.
I'm happy
to take your money.
Well, that's
She also felt that that it was important for the student, if they're a younger student, to not tell the professor how old they are, so that they don't treat them any differently. They're more biased toward young people. So she says that going to community college was a good experience for her. She taking the college classes early because she's gotten rid of the prerequisites. So she's done all the hard work first, and now she's taking classes that she's really toward her degree that she wants to. She's in animal science. So she's taking animal science and chemistry type courses now. But she also took a chemistry course that wasn't transferred over, and she's now taking that same chemistry course again. So, and we had checked with the university to see if it transferred. So, you just need to check. And unfortunately, this happened to her again. It happened to her, but she's just taking it again. So,
Mindy, you should clarify that's an out-of-state university that
that's
so
right.
You're transferring
Oh, yeah.
Maricopa County Community
Yeah.
College classes to an out-of-state university.
that's right.
Yeah. That's a much harder thing to guarantee transfer of credits.
Right.
And so forth.
And we tried to communicate, and we talked to advisors over at New Mexico State to see, and we showed them what she had been doing and what she, so it just happened. And so it's all right. She's taken it before, she's taken it already. So she says, though, if she had to do it again, she wouldn't have focused on her. She got an associate's degree from Phoenix College, Associate's of Arts. And she said she wouldn't have focused so much on that, and she would have focused more on getting the prerequisites. More prerequisites and not worry about the associate's degree so much. And she feels that now that she's at the university, compared with the other people of her age, she has more maturity and more experience than the other people because of her community college experience. She expected that when she got to the university that she would be expected to work. Well, when a lot of students come from a high school experience and they're going into community college, it's less courses. They're taking less courses during the week in at university. So they're thinking that they don't have to work and they're perceiving it and that they will get into all sorts of trouble.
Mindy, how old was she when she completed her associate's degree?
She was 17.
Considered a junior now?
She's considered, it's transfer students, so she's considered a sophomore. And she's got enough credits for junior, but just the way that it works out with her coursework. And she's changed her focus, so we thought that she would be there for 5 semesters, and she'll probably be there for 6, just because her focus has changed. And you don't know that.
That's so
You
hard.
find out
Yes.
when you see what you like.
It's very hard for students to, know everything. I mean, she's changed her minor, and it's hard. So you get your feet wet.
You don't know what's there until you take the classes.
It's understandable,
Especially at 15, to try to know what you want to do
Very true.
for the rest of your life.
No, I think she will. I just tried to talk her into something.
Oh, the truth comes out!
We got it on camera, Kaya.
Yeah. She's her focus is going back to equine, which is really what she wants to do. She has a blog right now. If anyone's interested in taking a look at it, you want to look at it. It's girlandpuppy.blogspot.com, and she'd be willing to talk to anybody that has any questions. So
What was that? What was she doing?
girlandpuppy.blogspot.com. So she's that blog's about her experience with the animal science, and she's working with service dogs and getting a service dog club together on campus. And she knows that some people might be contacting her. So that's my thing.
Awesome. let's see, where should I start? Start with, like 17 years ago I started homeschooling. So I kind of went from the get-go almost with my oldest, who's now 22. I was just a little bit later than you in getting him into community college. He tested at the age of 15, and he started part-time when he turned 16 the following fall. I did some other stuff at home with him at the same time. I didn't call it dual enrollment. I didn't call it anything. I just put him in for classes. And everything changes. I mean, back then everything had to be signed off on for early outreach. And then 4 years later, when I took Wesley, it was all different. So every time I go, it's different. But anyway, so Nathan, my oldest, completed his Arizona General Education curriculum. And most of you, I think, know what that is. Is there anybody here who doesn't know about that? Okay, it's called the Arizona General Education Curriculum. I brought some stuff that's on the table there, and feel free to take it. It is basically a set of core courses. It's not quite an associate's degree. They're all pretty much general studies courses that waive high school requirements for our state universities. Okay, so all of a sudden you don't have to worry about lab science. You don't have to worry about the math and everything else, because once they get those courses done at any of the Maricopa community colleges and they have passing grades, that will waive their high school requirements to ASU, U of A, or NAU, and others. There are others. Anyway, that's what Nathan did. And I didn't know anything about it at the time. I didn't know anybody who had done it. And I just kind of went in there, and sure enough, they're like, oh yes, you can do this. And there are 3 different types of AGEC, depending on what your child is going to be majoring in. There's AGEC A, B, and C. And I think the A is like for general arts majors, like political science, journalism, that sort of thing. And then there are others for business majors, and if your child is going into like higher level science, engineering, that sort of thing. So they're geared toward that. The courses are guaranteed to transfer, but only to our in-state schools. So Nathan got his AGEC and transferred successfully to U of A. Then when time came for Wesley, I started on that same path. When she was 15, I took her down for the testing. And by the way, at that time, at the end of their 15th year, they both scored well enough on their testing. They didn't have to do any remedial courses. Everything was fine. Wesley scored exceptionally high, higher than I expected, and they offered her a presidential scholarship, which I didn't know anything about. We had intended on her taking 2 or 3 classes that first semester. But with the presidential scholarship, they have to go full-time. They have to take 4 classes, and every semester they have to take an honors level class. And then in exchange, their tuition is paid for basically 2 years, not including the books, but covers the tuition. We just kind of looked at each other and like, well, I don't know. They said, first of all, I get people at admissions saying, oh, well, she has to have finished high school. And then I get the lady at the honors department who says, just write me a letter of completion. So that's what I ended up doing that. We ended up trying out the presidential scholarship. We thought, well, we'll give it a try. And I told her, if it's too much for you, no big deal. You drop the classes, yada, yada, yada. We'll just go on as planned and we'll pay for it. It's community college, such a such a deal. So anyway, so she went ahead and proceeded with that. We did have to get permission for her to take Honors English 101. And obviously she wanted to major in journalism, so she wanted to focus her honors classes toward issues in journalism that would, promote her area of study later on. I remember we had to go to the head of the department, the language department, and get permission. And the woman was basically saying, we've had homeschoolers before. Sometimes subjects come up in class that are not. I'm like, well, and I said, and I just looked at Wesley and I said, well, I guess if, I don't know if I should say kids, if there are issues that are beyond you, you can always, just consult with your brother. Older brother. I'm sure he's got information for you there. So anyway, it was a great success. It was an amazing success for her. Not every class was perfect, but those first honors classes she took, 101 and 102, were fantastic. Yes. And it worked out well. Wesley completed her associate's degree, plus taking the Spanish, or the foreign language requirement that she needed for journalism at ASU. And she had a very smooth transition and transfer to ASU, where she's studying downtown now, and she's a junior. I have very, very simple transcripts. I mean, compared to...
I want to
You all
see
get to see my
Hold up one of
grade.
your transcripts. Mindy's are so professional looking. Mine aren't even in line.
I want to see the
Fine. That's the kind I would do, definitely.
Oh my good. Oh, good grief, honey. Look at that.
Where's that email that I
Oh, but can I pass this around? This is what they should look like. Oh my God, man.
They don't have to.
They
Go the
accepted
easy
mine, I'll
route.
tell you that. This is a copy of the letter of completion that I drafted for Wesley. Notice on her transcripts, if you take a look at them, I did not put the grade level that she was at. I simply gave the year of study, and that way I was able to fudge that, you know, she hasn't done 4 years of high school, but she is done. I am done with her. You know, I also had my kids, I am done.
I don't think that New Mexico State would have been something.
Oh, probably not. But SCC did.
Oh yeah, they accepted a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is all I did.
Here you guys.
I also had the kids sit for their SATs, just because I thought that they should have some standardized testing to show a university. And we did that in the spring of their what would have been their junior year or 11th grade. And they were both in community college at that time. So that they had that, and you do a real sturdy preparation on that. I didn't do very much, but or anything.
No, she gave me the book and I kind of did it all by myself.
So, Wesley, I'm sure you have lots to say with respect to what Mindy's daughter had to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I have similar things. So I started at SCC when I was 16, like she said, and I mean, mostly what I can tell you, they're telling you the technical stuff. I can tell you how it was such a change. It was going from kind of just a relaxed environment, whatever, do school whenever you want to, you know, a schedule and a classroom and different teachers, and it was a change. But I loved it. I mean, I'm a very social person, so I got really into it, and I loved meeting new people in each class and making more friends. And I took my honors class the first 2 semesters for English 101 and 102, where I had the best teacher ever, best English teacher, best teacher. His name was Larry Tuala. He's part of the Honors Society program. He is one of the head people there. He's amazing. What else?
Did anything questionable come up in class?
Yes. Really? Yeah. But I mean, he asked before if anybody. Like I was never discriminated against because of my age. For the most part, the only reason I got some sort of reaction because of my age was from the students. So they would be like, "Oh, you're only 16," and they were surprised to know that I didn't drive yet, and things like that. They'd come up, but you know, they'd be like, "How did that happen?" It's like, "Oh, I was homeschooled," and they just drop it from there. They're like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." So it was. I mean, I didn't have any troubles with that, and it didn't keep people from being friends with me. So, and the teachers didn't. I mean, I would tell them if it came up, but they would just think that I was really smart. So it wasn't a big deal for me. And while I was there, I didn't particularly expect to get my associate's degree. I was just gonna do the AGEC, and then when it came down to it, my advisor told me that if I just took one extra class, that I didn't get it. So I was just like, oh, okay, that'll make my mom happy, so I'll do that. So I got my associates from there, and just recently, this is my first year at Arizona State University. So I'm a junior there studying journalism. It's not at all odd now. It's completely normal. It feels weird being back in this kind of environment, actually. Seeing all the kids running around on a school day, it's weird, but I mean, this is where I came from, so just, yeah. I'm about 2 years ahead. Yeah, two and a half. So.
What age did you start?
I started at 15, 16.
You just turned 16.
Yeah. But the only thing that's different about transferring from a community college to a university is that they don't. Community college doesn't offer higher level classes. They stop at like about the higher 200 level. So I have a lot of really high level journalism classes that I need to take that weren't available to me. But the freshmen, the students who start at the university as freshmen have the opportunity to take those classes over their 4 years. So they're doing their prerequisites as well as those higher level classes just mixed within each other, and I had to do all my prerequisites and then not do all my higher level classes.
Yeah.
I believe that there is. I believe that there is. Yes. You'll have to get accepted to ASU in order to take those classes.
I'm pretty sure you can. When I was on the newspaper, the sports editor was going to ASU, but then also taking classes. You could, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you speak to whether you think it's better to get the associate's degree or just get 60 hours and transfer, or getting the whatever AGEC? Which of those three options is most efficient or efficacious?
I think it depends if you're going to an in-state school.
Well,
For one thing.
Kai actually had a problem after she was accepted, where they said at New Mexico State, where they said that she wasn't a student and she needed to have her GED. After she was already in the dorm and everything, was 2 weeks into the semester,
and she had an associate's at that time.
Yes, and
Ridiculous.
so.
That's
So,
ridiculous.
of course, we had a long conversation with me screaming on the other end of the phone,
Yeah.
saying, go back down there and find another person to talk to. And, she'd been there 3 times already. And tell them, do you require all of you people with associate's degrees to come up with a GED also? And of course, they dropped it right then. But her feeling is that she might not have gone for the associate's degree, that she would have gone for getting the prerequisites out of the way.
Okay.
Because for what she's doing, it doesn't matter whether she has associate's degree.
So it kind of depends on what they want to
I think it
go
depends
on
on what
to
they're
do.
doing.
She could have saved a little bit more money getting the prerequisites, because community college is so much less expensive than the university.
Curious about that. Is there any reason that it's easier to start?
Lots of reasons. I think that the class sizes are smaller. It's a little bit more of an intimate setting. It's a really, and it's the inexpensive part of it, but it's a really nice bridge between this and putting your child in a big university. I don't know when's the last time y'all have been in any universities, but some of those general studies courses have 500 students in them. You've been to the planetarium where you push buttons on stuff, and okay, my son had a class at U of A that was like that. A class, 600 students. It's a huge stadium classroom. And that can be very overwhelming.
I know people coming out of high school who are overwhelmed by that, let alone not having a classroom. So.
What about the student populace in community college versus university, as far as their ages and ethnicities and things like that?
It's so much more acceptable to be young at a community college because there are older people. It's just a huge range. I had 60-year-old women in my Spanish class. It was okay to be however old you were. There were people coming to school because they had reasons in their past that they couldn't go to school. So it was just a lot more comfortable.
So, and then the university, it's much more younger crowd.
I haven't had a class with somebody older than I think 22.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also curious how you go about picking which campus or location to go to community college. Are they all the same? Is there a difference?
They're all different.
They all have one magnet
I can tell you why I picked Phoenix College, because they really welcomed us when we walked in. The campus was very small, one of the smaller community college campuses, so I felt that she was able to get around a little bit better. And also there were a lot of different types of people going to school there, different ages, different ethnicities, and I liked that. And I wanted her to be exposed to a lot of different types of people in her classroom.
In terms of like, you don't just want to pick the closest one to your house, or is that what you did and you got lucky?
I did.
No, I didn't.
I did.
Well, and
close to me anyway.
actually, Scottsdale Community College and Mesa Community College really welcome Paradise Valley. Also, really welcome homeschool students.
So along with Phoenix, isn't that all of them?
No, there's like
No.
8 or 9. But
No.
for example, Paradise Valley Community College has just finished their major $20 million life sciences building. They have cadavers for anatomy class.
So is it like some university where you pick it based on study?
Yes, you might want to find out.
I have no idea. You didn't get anywhere near the cadaver, did you? No.
Let me just jump in. I'm actually full-time at Gateway University. And I also have a 17-year-old who's in her second year at PV, so I'm a little bit earlier than these ladies, but you really want to look around based on your child's potential major, because Gateway is the medical campus. And if you don't know that, I didn't know that. I went to PV when I started my prereqs because I had a friend up there, and to be honest, I wanted a suburban campus. I was going at night, and I was going to walk in the car, which isn't a bad thing to know. But Gateway has invested in things that cost like $100,000 respiratory robot, so that respiratory therapists can perform procedures, and this robot reacts like a human. So there's clinical things that you can't do in every campus. They are actually offering physical therapy free if you're a student or a staff member there, because they want a clinic for their PT students and sonography students to work. So there's different things like that. Not at all of them, but it's some. Forensics is based in Phoenix.
So where would you find out what the specialty is?
Depending on what your child's interested in, I would look online and then start calling. But forensics is based in Phoenix College because they have a whole lab they share with the city of Phoenix. So the police. So depending on what it is, if they just want to take an English or an art class, you should go wherever you're comfortable. But as they move along, you might want to naturally investigate.
Are the credits completely transferable
Oh yeah,
to community
yes.
colleges?
But like Scottsdale Community has state-of-the-art film and production equipment. I mean, that's where you want to go if you want to do film. And it's
English 101 from any of them is,
Oh, I would.
You
Yeah.
take one from here and one from there,
Right.
and then 101
But-
here and 102 there.
But if you get a presidential scholarship, you have to understand that you're committing to do all your work there. So you want to be aware of that, and anything you do now, if my daughter went when she was 15 and a half, and then she got the scholarship, you have to understand that anything they take any time, that GPA stands. And once you get the scholarship, you have a minimum you can't go below. So this is just my personal thing. I wish I'd known, because if you're starting to let them try it out and you're not worried about grades, you might later realize, oh wow.
Oh well, yeah, grades or something.
Now she's got a low GPA and we didn't know, and you see what I'm just saying,
You
you
don't
want
want
to
to
be
discount the
informed.
grades.
And you can let them audit the first course too.
Well, that's another option.
If they're ready for it. And there's no grades with an audit. You go and you sit and you hear all the lectures, you do the homework.
Brilliant.
Then if you do
You
grades,
don't
does
get,
it count?
You don't
No.
have
You
to.
don't have to retake it, that's unofficial.
audit doesn't
Yeah.
get.
It usually costs more to audit a class, if I'm not mistaken.
See, I don't know anything about that.
I've never done that.
Take this to the same.
Are they? Okay.
But if they're not doing well in a class, they can withdraw withdraw before that final grade.
There are dates, yeah, and that's all posted and stuff.
There's a lot of rules
and,
about all
and it's amazing how quickly the students find out about all this.
Yeah, they have to.
And they really learn from the other students. But as far as also the location, you got to think about how your kid's going to get to class.
Yes.
You know, my daughter took the bus.
It's a long
You know,
I
they
drove.
wouldn't be able to, unless you want to be their chauffeur through college.
And some of them have nicer libraries or nicer tutoring facilities.
Like the school for the deaf, I had a friend whose daughter finished all the deaf studies at Phoenix College, and she's only barely 17. But I mean, her mother made quite a commitment. She drove from Glendale, 3-4 days a week for 2 years, but that's where that was centered. And that wasn't going to be anywhere else.
Does anyone let their kids bike ride on campus?
We live too far.
We're way too far.
They live
Kaya's
there.
gone a number of different
Or
ways
public
to
transportation.
school. She's ridden her bike part of the way and gotten on the city bus. She's taken the light rail. There were times when it was raining and I'd drive her part of the way and then she'd go the rest of the way.